Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of the Cartridge and Disc Podcast. This is Eugenist Gamer here. Well, there was a statement by Isom that the official organization, by the way, that Tony TDD let me know about, and he thought I should have waited for my video to make that video, I guess, because of that statement. And it really didn't matter for the purposes of that video because the whole theme of that video is, don't put yourself in a position where you can be sued over, ridiculous, stupid shit. Now, besides that video, now there's a statement by Eric July. Let me read it to you here. This is from his Twitter, it looks like. Again, let this play out. Our legal team is working. I'll update you when appropriate. The ops/attempt is a much bigger deal than the current state of the actual lawsuit. This is why I've been chill about it. We've yet to be, quote unquote, sued. Nobody has been served. Parties involved want resolution. We're in communication. Confusion and misunderstandings should be cleared up, and we anticipate this being resolved amicably. This is more procedural. Awesome. Right? It's always better to sit down and talk these things out. Now, besides this, there's also a video by Vito. I guess he's one of the gentlemen involved. And guys, let me start off by saying I'm not familiar with these guys' work. I don't have time to watch people's stuff. I have seen them, I think, maybe on Tony's show, I want to say, or on Saggy, I don't know. Right? I know about him, but I'm not a fan of him or any of his work. Right? But I saw the video that he put out, basically where he's distancing himself from whatever person, contacted this organization in order to do this. Now, in the same video, he acknowledged that he had used this before, his material before on his show for the purposes of covering Eric July. I'm paraphrasing here. Right? Now, let me say this, guys. It seems to me, by Eric July's tone here, that this is personal, and this is a very touchy subject. So let me start off by saying this is not at all legal advice in any way, right? Or financial advice. These are just my opinions based on what I've seen before, and things that have happened in business before that I've seen that may or may not happen. At the end of the day, it's really for your entertainment, to get you thinking about things, right? I know people involved in this that like to, comment or write on this. They want to be right about something. I can't be right about the future. I'm not clairvoyant. I'm not going to sit here and say that either Eric July is right or Vito's right. I don't know these people. I'm not going to sit here and they say they did nothing wrong. Now, Tony TGD says that Vito did nothing wrong. And for the purpose of this video, let's take Tony's information as correct. Let's take Vito's video as 100% accurate to what he knows, right? Now, in general, guys, when it comes to court cases, I don't believe anybody unless it's under oath, right? But for the purposes of the point that I want to make in this video, let's just take their information as correct, whether it's Tony or it's Vito, that they're telling the truth as far as they know. Okay. That's one thing. But it looks here, based on the statement that Eric July makes, the ops/attempt is much bigger deal than the current state of the actual lawsuit, is that this is more personal than anything else. And that's just my interpretation. Guys, I've seen people go to court over personal stuff and not caring about how much money they burn in order to find out whatever it is that they really want to find out, or to expose whatever it is that they want to expose. And a number doesn't really matter, right? I've seen this in the past. I've known people spend $10,000, $20,000 just to make a point in court, which is ridiculous, right? But it happens. It may happen in the amico, for example. Somebody might be pissed enough that may want to sue them and might want to spend $5,000 in order to get $1,000 back. I mean, you never know what people are going to do. But again, for the purposes of this video, let's take that, what Vito said is correct, right? And he's got somebody to vouch for him and say Tony TGD, and they're both correct, right? I'm not saying that they are, but for the purposes of this video, let's just assume that. Okay, so now he's trying to distance himself from this person. What would happen in the real world, right? So let me, and the reason you're seeing these girls here on screen is because I don't want to put Vito on there or anybody else. I don't want to put my mug out there. Give you something pleasant to look at while we're talking about this boring shit. What usually happens when somebody gets nailed, right? And if Eric July here is willing to spend the money just to find out what the hell happened and to hold people accountable and make examples of whoever he thinks he should make examples of, and he's willing to spend the money, what do you think is going to happen if this third person out there actually exists? And he's spending the money to get subpoenas, to subpoena the material, to subpoena the IPs, to subpoena the old, Twitter records or X, whatever the hell is here, or the old YouTube or Discord or whatever it is, okay, or whatever it is that he needs to get. He's willing to spend the money. Say he's willing to spend $500,000 to do it, and just so he can win a case. And let's say he does track this guy down, whoever this person may be. What do you think that person is going to do? Do you want to be in Vito's position? And again, for the purposes of this video, we're assuming he's telling the truth, where somebody out there is going to say, hey, I'm not alone in this. Even in let's just say that the guy's lying, right? But what do you think is going to happen if the guy is looking at paying $1 million plus in legal fees for Eric July? He's not even going to defend himself. You probably can't afford lawyers at the scale that he needs. So he's going to lose the case, right? Because clearly this person had malicious intent when they did this, right? And for the purposes of discussion, I mean, guys, a lot of people here on YouTube think that YouTube regulations in terms of service are the law. No. The only reason these exist is one and one only: for the convenience of YouTube, for the benefit of YouTube. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care about you. None of these terms of service are going to get you out of hot water in the legal system. And I'm surprised how many people think that. I'm not saying that Vito or Tony do, but in general, people out there believe that, oh, he did nothing wrong because, he followed terms of service. That's not how the world works. And if any court gets this case, they're going to look at it and remember, guys, even though you out there might be following this video, and whether it's, video game news for television or this right here, comic books, it's very interesting to you, but it's not to most people out there in the world. As a matter of fact, most people out there in the world will look at this and go, what kind of fucking immaturity is this where these guys are fucking fighting about fucking comic books and video games? That's what they're looking at. And when it comes to that, who do you think is going to have more credibility in the courtroom? Is it going to be some guy that has a business? Or is it going to be some guy on YouTube talking? It's just that simple. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but that is the real world. It's not YouTube world, right? When you go into lawsuits, you're not going into the people's court where people on YouTube are going to decide the case. As a matter of fact, when it comes to civil matters, you only need a majority. It's not like a criminal case, right? So you can spend as much money as you want to in order to get the information you need. And it looks like Eric July is more than willing to do that here. So I wouldn't want to be in any of these guys' position. As a matter of fact, I wish everybody luck. They should just sit down and talk it out. That's probably the best thing to do. And like Vito says, save your money, not waste it. But if it got that personal, right, then like I told you before, if this was me, I wouldn't want to mess with any of this and just, sit down and talk. And what do you want? You want a retraction? You want a poly? What do you want? Because that's a lot cheaper, right? If Tommy Tallarico ever phones me up and says, hey, I'm really offended that you said this shit about me, and the wood grain and this and that and the other, and I'm thinking of doing X, Y, or Z, I'd be like, Tommy, what do you want me to say? Just write it down, put it on a piece of paper, because I'm not going to court. Write it, and I'll read it word for word, right? And if it gets to that point, you don't want to be on the other side of these things, because whoever this person is, if he can throw these guys under the bus, oh, believe you me, he will, right? And we're assuming that this person exists, and we're taking Vito at his word, right? Again, he's just in a terrible position here, because you have an entity on the other side, Eric July, that feels a certain kind of way now. And he's got a lot of money spent on lawyers. And it's really entertaining, right? If you like drama and you like courtroom drama, this is going to be right up your alley, right? But it's terrible to see. Terrible to see that these things go from beyond criticism, right? And you have the right, guys. You have the right to hate his book or love his book or hate Vito or like Vito. You guys have the right to do all those stuff. But there's certain lines you can't cross, right? And obviously, whoever was writing this emails crossed some sort of lines here. And if you're involved in this, right, I don't see how you get away with it with just saying, hey, it wasn't me. Because now you have a person here that is writing, saying, no, this goes deeper. Right? He's already spending money on lawyers, and I'm sure he's going to want lawyers' fees back. This is a terrible situation, guys. It really, really is. And if this person, like I'm saying, if we take Vito at his word, this one person really, really screwed them. And if this guy's anonymous, Jesus Christ, I mean, how do you even get your money back? It's a real mess. It really, really is a real mess. And at the end of the day, are you responsible for what your viewers do? Well, some YouTube says that you have to police your comments, for example. But YouTube is not the law. It's not, right? And it's what you can prove in a courtroom. It doesn't matter if you did it right as a YouTube or whatever the hell that means, right? Because it doesn't mean shit in a court of law. It's just a mess. It's going to be enjoyable to watch, right? But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Eric July is in the right, because I don't know, and I don't know him, right? And I'm not going to tell you Vito's innocent, because I don't know, and I don't know him either. The best thing to do, like I said in my previous video, is to not even be in these situations. Put those disclaimers out. And don't be getting involved with fucking strangers that give you X, Y, or Z things, right? And the first, if there's any mistakes here that I would criticize on Vito, is the first time that he got an email from this, whoever person was, right then and there. Instead of putting it out, he should have said, this crosses the line. I don't want this done, yada, yada, yada. But, hindsight is 20/20. And now, this is a mess. I wish everybody luck. It sure is going to be entertaining. But, I think I'll wait until I see subpoenas. I think I'll wait until we have a day in court or something like that to keep on commenting. Because to me, this in general is just a sad situation. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. If you like these kind of videos, make sure you stop by and subscribe. Hit that like button. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.